Okay, guys, I'm back. And this time, I'm bringing you our Spooky Slam. Yeah, that's about as spooky as I get. Um, and I'm going to turn this off because it's bugging my face. There we go. Okay. Guys, this is our, I don't know, almost 10th, maybe sequential challenge that we've had so far. And you guys brought it. This was one with short notice. And it was a little different than how I've done them in the past. Usually I give a lot of lead up to it and stuff. This one was just about the shortest, the kind of off the cuff type of challenge I've given, and everyone rose to it. So it's pretty simple. I just said, take a story, any scary story, and give it to me in 1 or 2 pages. And that's it. I don't care if you're wrote, if it's a new creation, you wrote it yourself, or if it's like something classic. I just wanted something spooky. So that's part of what I'm going to be looking at today. Is I'm going to be looking at, of course, the storytelling execution, but also does it scare me? And I got to say, I'm pretty tough. I don't scare very easily. Or I'm a wimp. We'll find out. Yeah, let's take a look. Let's dive into this and see some of the amazing entries. I've got 30 entries here, and so I'm kind of blown away by that. Right, like you guys really brought it, and I want to bring it to you. So I'm gonna share the screen here, pop it up, and this is what we got. All right, so this is Nao Blue. I recognize this name from previous entries. And yeah, I'm curious. I love the 9 panel start to this. Really good flow. The eye is bringing me everywhere. Eye brings me down here. I start to see more horror in the face. Can't. What? What in the hell? Right? Like I'm getting into the story here. It's the camera comes from really close in to backing out a little bit. I start to see some of the face, and then the reveal on page number 2. And oh, here it is. There's the voice coming off panel. So you're awake? Fine. Just in time for the show. Uh, please help me. Sure, we're about to free your true self. Ready, dearie? No. And there's all these horrible monsters. How would I describe them? Kind of, I was going to say Rocky Horror Show, the plant things with eyes and mouths and stuff like that. I got to say, like, this first page, off the charts, one of the best entries that I've seen. This first page really hits hard. The second page is good. It's scary. The first page scared me. I could have just finished right there and just said, "Wow, whatever's coming, I'm scared of it." Right. The second page, I think a little bit of the lack of fear that dropped out of it. Like I like the gloves that she's showing here. The nurses, the whole Nurse Ratchet, scary nurse thing is working. I guess maybe it's the girl and this starfish kind of prison that she's got going on here isn't really scaring me that much. We backed away from the horror in her face a little bit, and yeah, the last panel though, the last panel panels on page 2 really hit home. So I guess if I'm really looking at it, where does my fear drop out? It's the little starfish coffin container thing she's got going on. I get the premise, but I think part of it is maybe because the inking it's making it look a little one dimensional, not as scary. I'm not even going to draw over this. Like there's a lot of good things going on here. The panel flow, even on page 2, I've P2 on panel 2 brings me down to P3. Nice straight across brings me down to P4. And yeah, like everything is working on this. This is something I would buy. This is a very strong entry. Just the beginning of page 2 doesn't hit quite as hard as even when I'm looking at, I get maybe the gloves being put onto. No, I was gonna say block out the boobies here or something like that, but no, that doesn't really work. Um, because I see boobs later on, right? So it's not blocking the body. I just think we're losing impact in P1 and P3 in this entry here. And like I said, it's good. Like there's a lot of good things about this entry. I even like the lettering on the first page. It could have been balanced out just a hair, but overall, there's so much goodness here. This is a really, really strong entry. Really loving it. Okay, next one is Ossid Hollow. Let's see if I can see this name. Maracle. Okay. And this is where we start to lose it a little bit because this was a scary story. And this, for by its nature, was sequential storytelling. And this person gave me a pinup. Um, and yeah, like it's a nice pinup. I'm not sure that, like, if I look at it, there's some perspective issues going on a little bit here. Uh, but overall, it's a nice burning of the witch at the stake and everything like that. Does it look scary to an extent? Yeah, I like the heavy darks on it and stuff, and the crowd in the back. I'm a little concerned why the crowd in the back, their heads are so large for being so far behind the witchy woman, right? But the nice dark inks give it some weight to the piece and everything like that. Fundamentally, though, Ostillo. The issue is that this is a storytelling contest, especially in sequential art, and you've got one page, one panel, without anything happening other than the fire. Meaning, there's no sequential storytelling here. So, it's a good entry for what it is, but could have had a second page to it or a page before it. Right? I think that really would have punched it home a little bit better. Okay, Chuck Callaway here. This is first off, I love it. Like I love the coloring, I love the sharpness and everything. I don't think I love the massive white trim and border here. I'm not sure, especially in a scary story. The white really, that thick of whiteness and stuff like that, really takes away from the scariness. It almost lights it up a little bit too much. But let's get into it. Let's just see how this looks a little bit. My father bought an old clock in an antique shop for a really cheap price. Okay, we've got this clock. He's talking about how gorgeous it is. My wife says, "Oh, Howard, it's so beautiful." I like it, right? Strange things start happening. I like the storytelling. It's moving into it. The clock would stop at 2 a.m. every night. He's noting it's strange, and I like how this is like it's giving depth to the faces and P3 here. I'm really enjoying this, right? Uh, it the repairman can't find anything. I actually like how there's a little bit of accent thrown into the dialogue. The clock, is there at 12? Nothing wrong with the clock. Or there is, sorry, not 12. My bad, my German. This picture of an old lady, maybe she was the previous owner of the clock, right? This nice grumpy old lady. Things got worse. Dad, I'm scared. There's an old lady in the room. Pops over. The kid looks a little aged. That would be one critique here. I think careful with kids. You already simplified the eyes, made the eyes bigger and stuff like that, but any lines or anything ages somebody pretty quick because I'm starting to get my lines. Turn 50 soon, right? So we don't want to have a lot of lines. Botox that little bugger, right? We get up here until exactly the next night, 2 a.m. Nice dark storytelling. It doesn't always have to be a drawing, right? This was a dark panel. It's telling its story. Dude wakes up with not the woman of his choice on him. It's a big reveal. Horror, as in horror, right? Scary, right? Not that this woman's making money. He could smell her foul breath as she studied him with an evil grin. He tried to scream but could not make a sound. Before a minute had passed, she was gone. That night, my father put out the old clock in the trash, and the clock kind of goes on, right? This is nice storytelling. There's a lot of good pacing of it. The beats are really good. Um, Dynamic shots, uh, for the most part. Changing the camera depth a little bit is pretty good. Didn't have to change the camera pan too much because like a lot of these are straight shots and it's straight on storytelling and stuff like that, right? I like it. I think it's a good story. Like I said, there's two things that are throwing me here right now. The massive white trim is still bothering me. I don't understand why it's there. This is how it was sent to me. So you can see I just kind of grabbed it, put it in my little canvas here or whatever. Um, yeah, no, I would change it. I don't know why it's there. Right. I'm really curious, Chuck, why it chose that. And the kid. I think the kid is sadly looking slightly like a 30-year-old and stuff, right? Overall, though, great storytelling. 2 pages, got it done well. The only thing that scares me is thinking that that old lady might jump on me later. Okay, next one. Issa Pateri. Issa Pateri. Okay, let's kind of zoom in here, see what we got going on. Page 1, P1. We've got a good character reveal. Maybe this is a rope here on this attached to the spear. Okay, I'm kind of always looking. This is where inking gets tough. I believe this is his body looking over ocean that's losing its shit in a storm. Yeah, waves are crackling, lightning's hitting, lightning in the background, like that. The white negative space here is really sharp. His eyes light up. There is a beast jumping out of the sea and grabbing him and then returning to the sea. Cool. Where's the scary? He's this muscular warrior type dude's facing off against a storm. He's maybe going to fight whatever comes out of the sea. His eyes light up because it's a giant mofo. I dig it. The only thing that is kind of taking out of me is this almost the wood cutting type of effect when it comes to the inking here. Um, Page 1, P1, it took me a half a beat or more to kind of figure out the setting, right? Uh, so could that setting have been established in P1 instead? I don't know. Either way, it got established and stuff. It just the inking style is pretty cool, but it chugs me a little bit in the storytelling and stuff, right? Overall though, yeah, I dig what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. P5, P4 and P5 on page one. The use of white space, negative, and then the giant eyeball. Literally speed lines in the eyeball, swinging around because he's like, "What's happening?" Gulp, and he's gone. Nice storytelling. I'm enjoying it. Yeah. Next one is Ken Best. Let's see if you're the best, Ken. P1 sets the scene of a old stone building. There, P2 gets a madman. A little bit heavy in the rendering, but I'm cool with that. P3 gets even heavier in the rendering with Frankenstein and yeah, I guess the reason I was pointing that out in the rendering is his face has got a lot of shade to it, whereas in it's a white background, so that might be something. But it makes more sense when we look at the lighting in the laboratory in the next ones. This is the Frankenstein story. We can see what's going on because 1, 2, 3, 4. P4 is the little top of the steeple or whatever that's catching the lightning, right? The lightning rod lights the monster up. Um, Not sure I'm in love with the face in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in P5 in this one. P5, I think it Frankenstein's face is a little bit for lack of a better word, childlike. Maybe that's what they were going for. Um, Page 2, we got Frank busting or the monster busting out of his restraints, goes to shank the good doctor. I'm still trying to see if there's consistency in the head shapes and stuff like that, and I'm feeling it. He cracks his neck and walks out. I like that crack, and I like that last panel of him being slightly contorted as he makes his way out into the world and stuff like that. I even like this is a hard angle with the monster snapping his neck and stuff like that. Does his neck kind of look in an uncomfortable position? Normally, I'd be like, "Hey, maybe there's an anatomy issue here or something," but I'm like, "There should be. He's getting his neck snapped, so that works, right?" Overall, great storytelling. Like I'm looking at it, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not missing any beats. It brings me from panel to panel. Um, the only panel that's semi hidden here is one, two, three, four, P4 with the electric thing, but because the story is so familiar, I don't think many people miss that beat. There's a lot of good stuff going on here. Honestly, Ken, I don't know if you're the best, but you did a really good job here, man. Like I'm appreciating what this is. I think that yeah, I'm not like I said, maybe Frank's face or the monster's face and a couple of them were kind of like, meh, but it's a monster face, right? Like you can play with it a little bit and have some fun with it and just see what direction it goes in and stuff, right? So yeah, overall, really great entry. Actually, I'm loving all these entries so far. Like they're really, really good. Next one is Tomislav Corode. P1 dude shooting things off. Die, die, die. Rat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tat. P2, clack, clack, clack. He's out of ammo. Impossible. Why won't you die? Okay. Oh, it was a scarecrow and it's walking his way. Um, the only thing I'm looking at the scarecrow, I like it. I like the smoke coming off of it, the bullet holes, all that kind of stuff. Is maybe the upper body to lower body ratio. I want to see if it's consistent in that, because right now we've got a almost 3-to-1 ratio from top to bottom here, and it's odd, but whatever. It's monster, right? Like this is cool about monsters. Get in here, my turn. I like the lettering, changes it, and he gets in and page 2 uh brings some power from the earth and cuts into Farmer Red, and then it's to be continued. Um is it consistent in the body type here? Kinda. Yeah, close enough to it. Yeah. What do I think of this blacked out silhouette thing? Freaking awesome, right? I like the expression of the worry in P3. Like, there's a lot of good things going on. The only thing I think if I was to change anything is I would have made the scarecrow just a little bit more menacing. Do you know what I mean? Like the design, because of that upper body to lower body ratio, the design reads slightly childlike or anything like that. And that's sometimes that can be scary. Like we look at Chucky and everything like that, right? Like that doll Chuck or childlike proportional thing can kind of work, right? In this case, though, when I think of scarecrows, I don't really think of them as childlike. They're fucking scary. They're hanging up on a post all day and getting pissed off all the time, staring at me. So I don't know. I think if I was to change anything, I wouldn't change anything in the storytelling. So far, everybody's banging with the storytelling and stuff, right? Um, yeah, I would change the scarecrow slightly in its appearance and make it a little bit more menacing. I think that when I'm looking at the backgrounds, I don't mind them being kind of semi-blank and stuff like that. The end scarecrow where he just this is almost the exact same shot from the bottom of page 1 to the bottom of page 2. I don't know if I'm necessarily in love with the same head tilt, the same everything. Um, only it's the different hand sets up and stuff like that. I think maybe you could have went with something a little bit more menacing in page 2, panel 2. Um, and again, that goes down to what I'm saying here is I think your scarecrow, the storytelling is great. I'm scared for the dude for good reason, but I think that Monster could have kicked a little bit more in its design. Okay, next one, Michael MacDonald. I'll zoom in just a little bit here. Okay, looking at P1, we got our setting the scene. Careful with zip tone because right now, because it's the same darkness that's above in the sky and the same darkness in the door, this building looks like a piece of cardboard just sitting there, right? It's got no depth to it or anything like that. I would have blacked that whole front door out or something like that. Dude comes and visits, or is entering the castle, I'm guessing. And I like the perspective here that this is from his viewpoint entering it, even though we don't see him. He's coming upstairs. So I kind of like that you've got that continuity in storytelling here, right? Um, then that kind of weirdly actually angles us back to P3. He's looking up at something. I don't know if I necessarily like this. What he sees, this P3 could have maybe been gone, but whatever. Yeah, I could have went 1, 2, and then here as a bigger reveal without the cropping of the head, have Dracula or whoever Dracula, uh, the reveal and stuff like that. And that way we wouldn't have had this Dracula and then the second one. We could have had a little bit more focus on just the reveal and stuff, right? Because you've got a half a reveal here, and then it bumps down into a staggered reveal or something like that. And it doesn't really make sense why we've got this doubled up here, right? Then we've got somebody going through the hallways. He opens up the window, looks down, or maybe he's down on the street level, looks down, and Dracula is now climbing up the wall towards him or something like that, right? Um, yeah, how we get from here to here, I'm not quite sure. Is this maybe this is supposed to be a statue of Dracula himself? So he walks up and he sees this statue. This is where it needs to be a little bit more clear. If this was a statue, have some of it aged with cracks or something like that. And I'm just guessing here. Maybe this is actually dude, Dracula, 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 again, again, and we just had a weird jump here, right? I can't say for certain. And if I can't say for certain, it's up to the artist to make it a little bit more clear, right? Really good entry here, though. I would get rid of page 1P2 and have P3 much more clear and powerful. Then our jump, this confuses me. Why what's happening? Why we went from a reveal to this? If this is a statue, then you could spend some time of him winding his way up to his room. He opens up the room. This P2 on page 2 could be moved over, or like we have him climbing the stairs. He opens, he looks down, he sees a form, and as that form comes closer, it's the reveal of the actual Dracula, from statue to actual Dracula. I think that could have been a better storytelling there, man. Okay, good stuff though. Good entry, man. Next one is Caleb Conver. Ooh, another haunted type castle. We've got the nice castle with the freaky trees out front. Good details. I like that. Climbing the stairs, paintings. Everything's working pretty well. For some reason, though, these paintings, um, just the way I don't know if they're. I'm trying to. If I was to, something's off in the perspective here, and I don't know if I want to spend the time on it. But yeah, something's hitting me about these stairs, this railing, and these paintings. Uh, What's bugging me? I'm trying to like move myself to see where it's bugging me on this. Maybe it's because the railing's reading so flat, and even how it's joined into the stairs, it's reading flat. But something's really bugging me about how the perspective is laid out here. I don't know that would be something I would play around with and explore. I get the scene though; looks pretty good. I might have had this lamp kind of over top of the painting just to even set those paintings against the wall in the back a little bit more. Nice face, very nice rendering. He looks stressed. He sees a door ahead after climbing all these stupid stairs, right? Gets to the door, opens it up, and there's a reveal. I don't know if I. Hmm. Her standing in this stance, I would have rathered her kneeling or something like that and holding up this semi limp body as it is. Like this is more of an action stance, whereas I wanted to be more of a scary reveal. It looks a little bit more superhero-ish than it should, I think, which sounds funny. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it looks a little bit more like I can imagine Tigra or something like some. Whereas in this next panel really shows what I'm getting at here is this diabolical reveal. So I might have silhouetted this one, not shown tons in the reveal, and then the big reveal drops down, right? Coming over. Um, nice, Nice. Kind of repetitive though. I would have had her maybe drop the dude and focus on him, right? Because we've got a bit of a repetition, just a camera angle switch in these three panels in a row. Then she walks over, sees him, seduces him, and sucks him dry. Really nice perspective on this last panel here. Really good face work. Like the drawing is really, really good, especially faces. I am absolutely, who's this? Caleb? I am in love with how you draw faces. Like, wow. Um, a little bit of the beats of the story could have been a little bit better. Like I said, like where the reveal comes in and stuff, right? And then I like her movement over to him and everything. I like that. But a little bit of have here's the here's a partial reveal, here's the full reveal. Come over to the next page. Sorry, guys. And then we get movement, right? Other than it's a little bit too repetitive there. Caleb, amazing stuff, man. Maybe I'm gonna spend some time and see if I can figure out why that panel bugs me so much. Jeff. Ooh. Ooh, Jeff Wellborne. Look at this. Don't even have to zoom in and I'm already making sounds, right? Okay, where's our panel flow? 6 down to here, depressed dude. Great perspective. Down to here, nice cropping. Down to here, not the nicest physique, but that's typical. Over to here, he's wondering what happened to his head. And then something comes out of his head. He's like, cracky crack. And then you don't look back. Here comes Jack, right? Straight out of his head. Splits him in two. Oh, how cool is that? Like, I want to back up just a little bit so we can get that all in there. Buzz, buzz, buzz. He's having troubles, wakes up, slow wake up. He's like, what the hell is this on my head? Oh, this hurts. Crack. And the only thing, only thing I would change about this is maybe some back sound effect in the back, like crack as he cracks through this skull or something like that. Like I'm feeling it, but this feels like a headache. I want the impact of it coming out of his head, right? Like, and that's where we can get into sounds. And I know you can do it because you've already got sounds, right? Um, honestly, this page is near perfection. Like, that's the one thing I would add to it. Nothing else I would change. Maybe because of the way this might go to print, the cropping, I might lose some of this hand and some of this cat. Um, but this isn't going to print. I'm not worried about it. It's got its own format. And Jeff, super strong entry. Not going to say who wins this. That's not what this video is about. But right now, mm, mm, this page impresses. Okay, next one. Jokim. Hogstrom. Okay. Ooh, this lettering is a little tight. Watch your lines, your spacings. Like, look at that. I've zoomed in. For you guys to see that, I have to be like really close to this. Okay. Oh, wonder where this black dot is coming from. Disappears. Strange little error. Okay, so we've got a horse, 3 months of chasing the sun, running from the night, running from the same curse of Samael. At last, my run is over. The day becomes too short. The night's too long. The night's got really nice writing here. Huh. I wonder if you got this. I do like the lighting or the lighting. The writing is the spacing is too crunched, but the actual writing here is really good. I dig the word bubbles. There's a little bit of spacing issues here and stuff like that of laying out the bubbles, but overall, boy, at least now it gets one last glance at the stars. Farewell, hello world. He turns to all who rest. Hear my call. Rise. And he becomes maybe a Grim Reaper type or something like that. And he starts to raise the dead here. This is really nice. I don't know about you guys, but I'm impressed. I'm impressed by the way the calmness of P1 sets the stage. The horse is sitting there, the calmness of this man. We pan in and out of him a little bit. Um, he looks like a reasonable man that's been haunted or whatever. Like the face is just banging. And all of a sudden, the transformation comes and he's saying goodbye to that human form. It sheds away from him, it falls away from him. He transforms his horse as well, the crackling of the energy and stuff like that, the changing of the fonts. Jeez, man, like you guys are making this easy on me. There's not a lot that I would change on this, uh, except for spacing of dialogue. Just too crunched, too crunched. Ah, overall though, like I don't even know what to say. It is so damn good. Okay, so another one here. We've got another entry by Rashid Mogi. Rashid. Let's look at P1. We've got a setting of maybe a bit of a shanty town or a simple town or something like that. Perspective starts to get a little off on some of these windows and things are bouncing around a little bit here. Yeah, be careful of that because you can cheat a little bit, but like all of a sudden it starts to warp reality. And if you want to warp reality, that's cool. It's Halloween, right? But like, gotta be with intent, man. Okay. Um, so we got a car driving down a road. Then we're inside of the house. Woman's waking up next to a man. She looks over, does not look impressed. This is where I become a little less impressed. The facial details and stuff like that is not in love with it. There's a lot of good rendering going on here, but again, like I'm looking at some of the perspective here, and it's a little jumpy. Um, Figure gets out. I like the storytelling though. Like we got this shitty little town. Woman's waking up in not the greatest of bedrooms, getting out of bed, side eyeing, looks unhappy with whatever it is in her life, reaching into the drawer. This is where rendering gets confusing. I can't really see what's in the drawer. And look at this hand. Like this is where when we start to over render stuff, is this a woman's hand or is this a demon's hand? Because if I'm looking at this hand just for what it is, that's a demon's hand. I've never seen a woman look like that. No, I'm not going to say how many women I've hung out with, but that's a demon's hand. I'm not going to say how many demons I've hung out with. This is where over rendering confuses because that hand is confusing me. Right. Sometimes we can get haggard in the face, we can get haggard in these boobies, right? But when we look at that hand, is she transforming? Because there's a lot happening in that hand. She must have grabbed a knife. I couldn't really make out what that was. She's walking around. Look at that leg looks kind of bent. This leg is going up here and then back here. That's not how legs go. The anatomy needs some issue. Standing over the man with a knife. I get that nice scene, nice storytelling. This face and skull is having issues. That's not what a face or skull looks like. It's not three dimensional. It's very flat, very squished. Yeah, this is where some frustration gets in ability and stuff like that. It's funny because there's inconsistencies. Sometimes the skull and the forms are really well shaped, and sometimes they're not. And this is one of the key reveals. I get to see the man's face, and it's very hard to make out what's going on here. Then in the next P4, I think I see his body. I think I see her boobs, and I think I see the knife inching towards him. But it's really hard to make out. I'm struggling to see what's happening there. And then the next one is the knife goes in. But even that, is that a knife? Is that how you hold a knife? I This is a scary story about a spouse killing or their partner or whatever it is and stuff. And I'll give it that. But there's a lot of fundamental drawing issues going on here that everything from perspective to facial forms and general forms and stuff to over rendering in the places that it doesn't need to be. Yeah, Rashid, I think you've got a lot of good stuff going on here, but I would focus on fundamentals of perspective, fundamentals of anatomy, and then easing off the icing on the cake until you've got those. No need to heavily render until your forms are down, man. Yep. Um, Next one. Sten Leroy. This is a one page, but different format. So let's see if I can read it correct. I'm gonna read it as a dream. Ugh, my head. What the? Where am I? I feel weird. Do I bounce back here or do I go down here? This is where it gets confusing. I'm gonna go with the color scheme of coming here. Ah, what's happening? No, please no. See, this is where am I going here now? No, please no. To join us. No. Who are you? And we. Okay, so this is where I get confused. Where's my story arc? All right, like where's my flow, my panel flow? And we brought you here. Oh, we are the sisters of the forest, and we brought you here. Okay, so what's happening? Please know to join. We are the sisters of the forest, and we brought you here in this form to join us as a fourth sister. Who are you, and can you help me? No, please no. Help? How? Okay, what's the problem here? Cool story, I guess. Like I'm digging it. Like there's a lot of cool elements to it, but I can't tell which way the panels go in this. There is so much confusion about where I'm supposed to read. And I've read a lot of comic books in my day, and I don't know which way. All I know is here's the beginning, here's the end, but everything in between is kind of confusing. Is it here, 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 here? But then dialogue kind of comes. This gets really confusing. So, um, what is it? Stien, Leroy. What I think is a really potential for a good story here. Somehow you had to make it clearer, and I would suggest that none of these panels need to be redrawn. It's just in order of layout, laid out so that the eye has no choice but to follow the flow. Okay. Next up is Peterman. Woo, lots going on here. Reminds me of kind of a Disney thing, like Beauty and the Beast kind of stuff, right? Okay, one never jumps too quickly to bite. It frightens the target. A quick glance, and she begins to blush. Such a beautiful glow, warm and tasty, and aged burgundy should be appreciated. Ooh, I am digging this. Nice writing, nice setup. A lot going on. A couple little funny things with some of the perspective. The tables look really low and everything, but you know what? Doesn't really bother me too much. Like, look at the height between this character and where everybody's sitting. Though, anyways, overall it's good, right? Like there could be some improvement and stuff like that, but overall it's quite good. Talks about getting an expensive wine, treating this woman. I need not pretend I'm a gentleman. Her last mortal drink should be top shelf quality. Uh yeah. She keeps glancing at the mirror and only seeing herself. She never once notices my absence. Okay, so this shows her vanity and stuff like that. Great storytelling here. Then we've got, oh, interesting. He's sniffing her and stuff. Watch the look how small she looks compared to him. And I know that obviously he's closer to us, to the viewer, than his intended victim. But I think I would have rather have this shoulder overlapping her a little bit more, just to show that. There's a hint of it down here, but it gets obscured because of the lettering and the the grotesque perfumes, fragrances. I like this hint of a smile with the vampire toothy grin. Very cool. Um, doesn't have to be backgrounds everywhere. I'm digging it. Right, shoulders being shown. Oh, hold on. Well, before I even go on, there's a problem here. One of the rules was 1 page or 2 pages. This is 3 pages. So, Shane Peterman, good stuff. But this kind of disqualifies you. So I'll keep going through it a little bit and stuff like that. Could this story have been told in 2 pages? Guarantee you. Guarantee you this story. The way that the lettering and the panels are laid out and stuff like that, this could have been tightened up into 2 pages. And the thing is, I like this. Like he takes her for a walk. It's got this darkness. He starts to seduce her. He starts to chomp into her. She's dead and dying. But there's so much wastedness here and stuff like that that honestly this could have been crunched into 2 pages. So it's a shame for me because like I think this is a strong entry in many ways and stuff, right? But it's automatically disqualifying itself because it's 3 pages, right? Does that mean I don't like it? Nah, Shane did a really good job here. I like vampires. I like boobs. I like vampires and boobs. Like there's and the pacing of it and stuff. Like there's some really good stuff here. But if you don't follow the requirement, right, then that tells me that why follow anything, right? This could have been a story about any. You could have broke any rule. To me, the rule was quite simple: 1 to 2 pages. You didn't follow it. It's cool, good entry or good storytelling. A lot of good stuff here, but I'm going to leave it be just because I got to respect the people that did follow the rule here and stuff. So next up is Eric Kilias. Seen a lot of this work before. Um, nice scene setting on P1. Nice scene setting on P2. Nice. With P3, we get a review of the characters and stuff. P4, dude. Oh, okay. So why does he get up? It's cluck, cluck, cluck. You can hear maybe the chickens, but there's a chicken coop. Okay, so there's my chickens. They're watching TV. He can hear cluck, cluck, cluck. He stands up and he goes to grab his shotgun. He's thinking somebody's messing with the chickens. I wish he continued that cluck, cluck, cluck. It's so hard to hear in the background or see in the background there. I wish it would have been getting a little bit stronger, like with some exclamation marks or something like that there, just for the storytelling purpose. He gets up, grabs his gun. He's gonna go shoot that little coyote or whatever it is. He walks out, shines his light. I can see that here onto the chicken coop, flashes the chickens. He's like, "This I'm not sure I get." Woo! And something is there. I don't know what's there. Did the chickens step all over him? Is he stuck somewhere? Okay, so I'm gonna he shines his light. I like this panel within a panel here. We see the chickens. Anything strange within the chickens? He sees something on the ground, maybe he's flashing his light, and then woo! He looks up. Great rendering, by the way. I really like these drawings, actually. Yeah. And then he either drops it or something, but he drops his gun, he drops the flashlight, and there's chicken steps all around him. Is he pushed into the ground? Did something step on him? Yeah. I think I'm scared just because I don't know what happened. That's the scariest part about this. Like, if there was a big chicken print, like the giant chicken stepped on him or something, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. I don't know what happened here. Eric, you're gonna have to reach out to me, man, and explain this one. Like, you've got me in suspense, and it's pissing me off here. Like, um, this is really, really good. Like, I'm enjoying it. I love the rendering. I love the beats. I like the storytelling, the build up for it. This is an extremely strong entry, except for I can't figure out the ending. Can any of you guys figure it out? Please tell me. This is Juan Toro. Let's see what I've got here. So they're breaking into a place, broken window, whatever. They come in, they're shining their light on maybe a toy shelf. I see some toy shelf there. One of them's strong, one of them's timid. They come in, strong one sees something, timid one's like, "Oh my god, what is that?" Oh, it's a hand behind the toy shelf here with some apparent blood. They pan over, grab the hand. It's a fake hand. There's a reveal. But the toys were the evil all along. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. I like it. I like all of it. Yeah, this makes me happy. Um, I like the the style. It's kind of an animation style. Um, I like that it makes you think back that they were walking by these toys the whole time. Uh, Walking by here, I maybe I don't know if this is a blank wall for a reason because I feel like it's funny because like right now I wish there was a little bit more. Like I like how here the toys are just drawn in the back. Kind of wish the toys were drawn in the back here too, just in P3. um, because it's like innocent, nondescript. They're just there. They're just in the background. They're nothing. They're nothing. They're everything, right? And I like that reveal at the end. I just wish there was this P3 something here. I don't know why they're walking by a blank wall necessarily, right? I get it here in that one, but yeah, that's about the only thing that bugs me here. Like this is an extremely strong entry. I love the style. I love the movement of it. Um, the shading, especially the storytelling. Yeah, like this is Juan. You did a wonderful job, guys. I'm a dad. I got to throw at least like one dad joke in here once in a while or something, right? And after 45 minutes, I think I've done a good job of not like throwing out that many, right? Okay. Next one, if I my saving see my little spinning wheel. I'm trying to make sure I save things just so in case it crashes in this video, I'm not lost. Gabby. Let's see what Gabby's got. Guess who? Nice ink work. Little flat tree. I don't know if I'm loving that. Looks a little bit copy pasted there, but overall, like the inks. Gabby got comics. Okay, so we got that. We go inside the house. Person at the desk. Guess who? Ben. God, you scared me. I didn't hear you coming in. I was so focused on my work. Have you eaten already? I can fix some dinner. Honey, I'm home. That's not bad. Simple, effective, kind of perfect. Like legit, that's how you tell a scary story in one page. Is there anything I would change on it? The choice of inking sometimes leaves it a little bit flat. Like I said, this bush caught my attention. The muddied look within this room caught my attention. I'm not like these are just choices when it comes to inking and stuff like that. They're not necessarily bad. It gives a real hard wood etched feeling to a lot of this choice of inking and stuff. But it's not bad. Like I can appreciate it. It's not necessarily my go-to style, but it's effective for what this story is, right? And yeah, and I like that there's no face reveal here. Honestly, these entries are kicking ass. That's all I can say. Genius Awode copy or Genus Awode. There's no copy. That was just how the file saved. Okay. We've got a this. Weird how Clip Studio Paint's having a bit of legacy issue there. Girls walking up the stairs. Some dudes are busting into the room. What do they say here? SPF high forever. Okay, they're being jerks. So they come into the house. He's taking off his pants. He follows her up into the room. This is interesting. Her bra is off, so he's following this girl. Um, Talking, having this nice chat. She's being all. He's talking about an incident. The lettering is what's killing me here. Like, look at how you should not be touching that word balloon there. I don't know why that is, right? So he's talking about an incident. He's going to tell her later, holding the promises. She comes back, or she leaves, comes back in, touching him. Get it? More stuff going on. Knock, knock, knock. He, honey, this is not funny. Let me in. Oh, that's his girl knocking on the door. Again, the reveal. He looks down, and the reveal is this scary face that you can barely make anything out other than two pinpoint eyes and some highlighted sharp teeth. Cool little reveal. It's a little muddy. um Storytelling is actually kind of similar to a couple we've seen here. Is like it's a nice little build up, a funny little thing, um and then the scary reveal at the end, right? Which makes sense. That's kind of the assignment, right? Anything I would change? Number one, the lettering. Yeah, the dialogue lettering is kind of driving me a little batty, and it's not just that one bubble. But most of these bubbles have issues, right? There's a lot going on there with them. Anything I would change in the artwork? No. Uh, he went from P2 taking his clothes off to P3. They're in bed together. Kind of doesn't phase me because I don't necessarily need to see how they got there. I can guess. Um, there's a lot of perspective pushing. Like if we look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, P5 on this first page, he is really pushed in that perspective for how small his feet are compared to her hands, right? Like my feet are bigger than most girls' hands. And so the perspective's really pushed in that one. Um, pushed too far, right? But I like the story. I like what's going on here. Uh, the slow crawl in. I like that reveal with the fan and the yeah. I don't know if I totally get this section though. Like he hears a knock, he looks, who's wrapped around him, his eyes look down, and then it's the reveal. I get that, but why then this white space here? Was that a conscious choice? That I'm not so sure of. Overall, pretty strong entry. I think Genius, you've done a good job here. Like it's good storytelling. Um, this perspective's off. If this is vertical, and why is this not? Right? Like little things like that trick the eye and stuff, right? But overall, really good. Next one, Marquee Boner. Cool. First thing that stands out to me is why are these layout construction lines on a finished piece? They're not on page two, but they're on page one. That should have been cleaned up before it gets sent off. I get it. Sometimes we lay some things out and sometimes we lay things out on the wrong layer. And so they stick with us and haunt us. Much like that's the spooky part of this this entry. I'm being haunted by these stupid layout rulers, right? They got to be gone. Don't send that away. Okay. Hand is walking towards this house. Chick is inside dancing. She gets shocked. Werewolf reveal. Werewolf busts in. Um, the bust in is not that believable a little bit because that wall, everything looks a little fake. The anatomy needs work. The perspective is pretty wonky here, right? I do like the P1 and P2, like the build up for it. Uh, why is she screaming? Maybe she saw him in the window, right? Yeah, okay, I'll get that. Yeah, she screams, sees him in the window, he smashes through the window. But there's no window that he smashed through. He smashed through a solid wall and part of the ceiling. So this is where we start to lose our continuity, and this is where like everything being all wonky in perspective doesn't help things. He then chases her into another room because this No? Same room? Boy, did that perspective ever really change things. This went from a presumably rectangular room to a corner triangle room or something. Like, okay, she reaches over and happens to have silver bullets and a automatic rifle. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, I can get with that one. He's down. She's standing there. The end. Biggest issue here, I think, is perspective. This, who is this? Sorry, Marquee Boner. The perspective really needs to be down. Even if you're having fun with it and playing with it and stuff like that, there's too many things bending reality that are unintentional. If you were intentionally bending reality, I'd be like, cool. This is a spooky stuff, right? Like bend it like Scooby. He took the wrong Scooby snacks and everything's bending or something like that. I get that, right? But nope, this doesn't look like that type of reality bending. Um, it's inconsistent and bounces around a lot and stuff like that. The storytelling is cute though, but it also doesn't really make a lot of sense. Like a werewolf breaks into the house that the wrong house that the random dancer happens to have an AR-15 with silver bullets. Like I don't know. Out of all the stories, this one is not holding up very well either. Like I think you could have done a fair bit better with this. Okay. Okay. Next up is Noah. Let's see what we got here. Uh, Noah Rivera. Little dark, and I don't mean that in like a evil sense. Well, that too, but I mean like it's dark, right? Ever since I was revived to fight crime, I fought a lot of criminals. What are you? We are Hive, but none like this. Hostile infiltration virus entity. Well, that's Hive. We. Okay. Who's fighting who? Who's Hive here? Okay. No, I'm still confused. Kerr Ash. Okay, who's down here? Is this the jack-o'-lantern that's down and then there's this dude trying to kill it? Okay. I am super confused here. Here's the jack-o'-lantern standing in the middle of these people that's saying we are Hive, right? Who's got the gun? Not a. Okay, this is where storytelling starts to fall apart. We, yeah. What are you? We are Hive. Okay, I get that. Like, Hive is a group. And the jack-o'-lantern is our protagonist here, fighting the group of these funny looking dudes. But who has the gun? Yeah. I don't see the gun again. And I don't see where this face comes from. Is this face some of the Hive dudes? Noah, um, I think you've had something in your head here that like sounded pretty cool and stuff like that. And I get it because I bet you it is cool. But how you've laid it down here is not clear to me, to the reader. And if I can't figure it out, then your job isn't done. You got to lay it out so that the reader can find their way through it. I'm kind of confused by this, and I shouldn't be. It shouldn't be that confusing for me. Okay. I like your jack o' lantern character. I think there's potential here, but it needs to be clearer storytelling. Okay. Next one is Rihanna. We are looking at there's a boat and then some type of hexagon shaped cloud that's attacking the boat. There's a drone news. Hexagon shaped cloud attacks the boat. My name is Evo Go Web. HU? Who? I can stop you? Ha ha ha. You think you can stop me? Ah. Mwahaha. Thank you, Evil Wave. No problem. What? So yeah, you think so? Thanks, Tornado. No worries. What do you think? Something is coming. There's an airplane. Nice. Flight. Something is maybe crashing. Disappeared flight. That was good. A ban. Save us. What's a ban? Say. Oh, this lettering is tight. No one can stop me. Okay. Um, very confusing. Uh, it's goofy. I like the hexagon cloud. Like that's cool. The concept is cool, but the execution is missing some stuff here, Rihanna. So I like some of the artwork here. I like the cloud. I like the facial expressions on the cloud. I think that's kind of cool. But the HU, like who, all, HLL, is that a U or an L? Double L? Hull. I don't understand what's happening there. Um, when we talk about lettering, it has to be very clear. The story has to be clear in readability and stuff like that. And there's a lot of things that are not clear in this. Um, we find ourselves trying to read words that are falling out of the bubble and out of the word bubbles. We find words that are aban, maybe that's abandon, that are abbreviated possibly. Don't do that. No, don't do that. Like this is a hard enough story to figure out. Even if this was lettered absolutely correctly, it's kind of a goofball story that's funny, and I like that, right? But if you're kind of goofballing the illustrations, you're cribbing the explanation through illustration, then your dialogue and lettering needs to be quite elaborative. You really should flesh it out and stuff like that. But if you're also cribbing that and munching it and squishing it, so it's the readability is hard. So I've got hard readability in the illustration, hard readability in the dialogue, um, hard readability in the story. Just makes it harder on me as the reader, and you can't do that. Something's got to be easy on the reader, right? Make it easier for me. Cool. Okay. Next one is Wojek Lek. We got the Scooby Doo gang. We've got the Mystery Incorporated van here. We've got Velma, Daphne lounging. Fred is possibly setting up traps because that's what Fred does, right? Shaggy and Scooby are in the fridge. There is a doorbell. Everybody looks over at the doorbell. There's possibly a Mountie. I'm Canadian, so I would recognize that, or a Ranger. Tough perspective here. I kind of dig it. He's presenting something to the crowd. They say, uh, "Oh, some comfort," like, "Oh my, what's going on here?" They pat Scooby. He puts his hat back on and he walks out. So they got some bad news. It looks like. What's the bad news? I don't know, but the ranger, Mountie, just got eaten. So maybe he was giving them a warning, giving the Scooby gang a warning that something bad is coming, and that Bigfoot and possibly Krampus or somebody is coming to kick their asses. Yep. Um, that's the story. What do I think of how it's told? Inking is obviously not traditional animation for Scooby, so some of it is slightly off character, but he's trying to tighten it in. Some of the perspective gets a little hinky in places, um, but you know what? I was able to tell the story, to read it, and without any dialogue, I could figure out what's happening here. At least I think so. The artist can tell me if I'm wrong. So just that in itself, if you can tell a story without any dialogue bubbles, you're rocking. You got some success going on, right? Um, yeah, yeah. I gotta say, like, this is not my preferred way of seeing Scooby Doo. I'm kind of partial to that IP and stuff, right? I really, really enjoy it. Um, as a cartoon and as a stylistic, very particular style, right? Uh, but it was successful. The only thing that I'm kind of meh about is from page one to page two, the big switch over. He goes from walking away to being eaten against that window, right? Like that's a pretty big leap. And I don't really understand that reveal. It's too big of a reveal. If he would have walked away and high fived the monsters like your turn or something like that, I kind of get it, but it seems like we went through a couple hours leap between these pages, and storytelling wise, that doesn't really make sense. Okay, Aman, Bansal. Okay, so we've got Earth 1990. We've got a comet of some sort swooshing towards the planet. We've got it's not a comet. It's actually, it looks like a jack-o'-lantern. The one thing if it is a jack-o'-lantern, why are these lines going through the mouth and the eyes? I don't know if that's an artistic laziness or if that's a design choice. The comet keeps whooshing in. Um, there's a moon and another moon. I don't know what this is. Why is there? Is that a sun and a moon? That's not how things look. What is this? Another night in canvas? Okay, Kansas. So if it's nighttime, why do I have like a quarter moon and a full light behind it? That's not making sense. Okay, kaboom! This jack-o'-lantern lands, starts rolling. And I don't know why these lines are going through everything here. And so the haunted pumpkin from outer space awakened from his slumber, slaughtering everyone in town. Their screams were heard, but nothing except the screams at the town's people and puddles of blood of children that flow along the town. Little disjointed in the text. As for the pumpkin, he still sits still in the crater, his slumber waiting to be awakened. A haunted pumpkin from outer space. Cool. Okay, it's a haunted pumpkin from outer space. Here's a problem. Why are there pumpkin lines still going through things that would be cut out in the jack-o'-lantern? Fundamentally, that's a problem. Why do we have two moons in the sky? That doesn't make sense. Why are the lines now disappeared in his mouth? That doesn't make sense. Yeah, inconsistencies in storytelling here that don't make sense. The story itself is kind of cool. Like I like the idea of a pumpkin from outer space. Pretty cool, but inconsistencies within the drawing are tough on me. Okay, as I open this up, already I'm looking at 3 pages from Steve Hall. Steve, this looks really, really good, but 1 or 2 pages, not 3. I don't know why you give me 3. They're good, right? Like I like the zzz all around. I like that he's sleeping. He wakes up. Good storytelling. The horror in his eye. That is great horror in the eye. He wakes up to see a demon that is part of the border hovering over top of him. How cool is that? All of a sudden, he's being grabbed by this demon, thrown out the window, falling to his death, and he wakes up in his bed. This is awesome storytelling. This is really good. Just pisses me off. It's 3 pages. There's got to be a way that this could have been 2 pages. Page 2 could have got condensed somehow into a small, small panel. It did not have to take up an entire page. Yeah, in fact, like out of all this, I don't know why that took up an entire page. That's where I would have cropped it. I would have put page 2 as a panel and slide it in somewhere else. Either one. It's a really good entry, but pissing me off that it's not 2 pages. Benedict Lewis. Let's see. Okay. So somebody's passed away. It's a will of Maria Zved. Bequeath all of my earthly possessions to my son Jan, including the house. He will prosper, but he must take care of the family Dumnovic, the spirit who guards the house. Cool gifts will be of bread and will keep it happy. Then he will continue to prosper, but if he does not, okay. So don't mind this legacy thing. I don't know what's going on there. Why that pops up sometimes today. I think I need to update my system. So he needs to give this thing for the house to be happy, right? The spirit in the house. He's maybe not giving it, so the spirit starts grabbing his keys, starts screwing around with him. He has to run and catch the bus instead because his you know, Spirit is screwing with him, right? He's having trouble sleeping. Everything's tough. The car's even gone. He doesn't know where the car is. His key's gone. Spirit's haunting him. I don't know where that is, and the spirit wraps him up, and that's the end. It's funny because I love this drawing style. Very, very strong drawing style. Um, the actual overall storytelling, like, okay, he stole his car key and then stole the car. It's a nice car. I think it's a Porsche, maybe. But why is he? Oh, he stole everything in the house too. And so now he's got to. Maybe he stole everything. The bus takes off. He doesn't have anything. Looking in the wilderness, out into the distance, there's nothing there. And so he gets wrapped up into nothingness. Yeah, kind of cute. I like the ending, especially that little wrap up panel that he gets squished into nothingness. That's kind of cute. I think the build up towards that could have been a little bit more. Like it lost me a little bit. The car, I think it would have been like, okay, the car's gone. Am I missing it? The things in the house are gone. Then, okay, then the house is gone. Now, see, I don't know if I would recognize that that's where the house used to be. Something a little bit more of a landmark there that all of a sudden he's looking at the house, it's gone, and then um yeah, like I would have had like a recognizable tree or something in the front yard that like because right now I don't know if he's standing at what could have been or should have been his house, and that's the driveway. It's not really that could be a plot of land. I'm kind of looking at it and thinking, okay, well that this section here is maybe where the house was sitting and stuff. But I wish there was like a mailbox or something that was consistent in these designs that can carry through so that the storytelling gets a little bit more clear that everything was taken away from him. It took me a while to arrive there. I think that's what the storytelling was. Benedict's an amazing illustrator. Just that little piece of consistency to show me that that was what's happening there. Could have nudged this simple reader into understanding a little bit better. Right? Okay, Tato Sado. Let's see. I don't know when the world started to end. If it was the war, if it was the epidemic, the rats, I don't know. But what really ended the world was hunger. Hunger drives men mad, turns them into animals. Digging the writing. Can't trust anyone. Anyone. Uncle Eddie, you're back. I said I would come back. I'm hungry. Can I talk to my mom? Later. She's very sick. Let me take care of her and get something for us to eat. Hello, Lane. I'm back. Sorry, I searched everywhere for 3 days, but couldn't find anything for us to eat. And I'm hungry. And he's eating his little niece, Elaine. Scary as shit. Um, Anything I don't like about it? No. I'm just like, I guess, trying to find a consistency between him, the eye. I guess maybe I lost the scar in the eye a little bit in when he came to visit her and stuff. If he would have kept the toque on through it or something like that, it's hard because like when we look at consistency in character and we take off a hat, we take off change clothing, all these kind of things. That's why everybody wears the same freaking costume all the time, right? Like we want that consistency. Coloring can help with that. This is a black and white. Um, so the scar is something that helps in that, right? Um, yeah. Is that a big reveal that she had all that and been amputated and stuff? I would think so. Yeah, I think this is a pretty good story. I guess what lost me a little bit was like just making sure that this is the same character, that this is the uncle and stuff, and that's her. Um, it's hard because she looks very different too. I guess Uncle Eddie, you're back. I said I would come back, Elaine. Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe some consistency in that, and just reinforcing that this is her and this is her again, and I'm hungry. Like, yeah. Anyways, it's really good, man. Uh, Very, very solid. I don't think I'd change anything. I feel like there's a little bit of white space here that I don't like. I think the cropping could have been a little tighter here with the head or something. I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of space under the bed that's really not serving any purpose, right? Okay, Philip Casper. Let's see what we've got. We've got a dead dude with some missing bits and bytes. We got a werewolf that's charging towards us, smashing through a window, tackling somebody else. A panel of the werewolf again. And the next panel is some dude shooting the werewolf. He lays into them, but leaves one standing there. Yep. What's the storytelling here? We've got a lot of this is very straight on and stuff. It's either straight on or from straight side or something like that, right? Okay, fine. We've got this panel of dudes dead, must have been killed by the werewolf. Werewolf goes after another one. Werewolf is staring at somebody else. Somebody takes a shot. Werewolf kills him, leaves the dude that doesn't take the shot. That's how I read the story. Hopefully, I'm reading that right. I kind of like that he left him behind. I wish he would have came closer and maybe sniffed him or something like that. Right? Uh, there's no dialogue, so maybe he's saying, "Don't do it, don't shoot him." I'm kind of imagining that. Um, maybe here could have shown the gun flying or something like that to show that the gun was part of it. He's got a gun. He's got a gun. I might have put a gun or a knife over here to show anybody that brings a weapon against this werewolf is gonna get eaten, right? And that could have been the consistency in the story. Right now, it's a little stilted, and I'm trying. I have to go back and try to piece it together. Look for that consistency, right? Like, okay, anybody that had a weapon gets munched. That would have been the storytelling, right? Okay, this one. Let's see. This is Jeremy Perez. We've got woo ha 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 blam blam blam. Yeah, this guy's shooting off in the woods. He's an idiot. Should be easier. The sniper is totally alone. We should wait for the team. They're busy farming. Look, we kill sniper and go back. Simple. Not kill the sniper. Here's the sniper. Grammar changed. Just let me farm me blink dagger. Okay, so the grammar is bouncing a little bit. I do appreciate the difference in word bubbles here. I appreciate that a lot. I appreciate the levels of depth to these scenes. Little heavily saturated for me, but again, I like the texturing as well on this. Very well done. Character designs also very well done. Very nice close up. Even cropping an eye here. Wait, how long has Ursa been missing? Crunch, crunch. Feeder reported. This is some gamer stuff that I ain't necessarily catching. Some of the vocabulary here. Raw, big reveal. Okay. So they're watching something, somebody's shooting. They're like, should we do something about it? I don't know. We can hear something coming, the reveal. The only thing that I don't like about this reveal is it should have been this crop right here. There's the scene. End scene. That's awesome. Why this is all here makes no sense to me. It should have been much tighter, and I don't know how this, like, I would have stretched it, did whatever, but it should have been, like I said, this is the biggest change I would make, is this is your crop right there. There's a little bit of wastedness here that I don't I don't know if it's the storytelling, and I'm not sure what's happening. They're sitting here, they feel something's coming their way. They're watching something, and then somebody ambushes them. The storytelling's a little bouncy, and so I don't necessarily love that, but I feel like somebody who knows these characters might know it a little bit better than me. Maybe. The art I like, the coloring I like, the dialogue and word bubbles I like. That last crop could have been tighter. And even here, like, why am I looking at a massive saturated green that catches my eye? Right. So watch a little bit of that, Jeremy. Because the rest of this, so much of this is very professional work. Okay. Next one is Victor Rafino. I think I've heard of this guy before. Okay, let's see. There's a whole lot of lettering going on. Almost too much? Let's find out. There was no time for administration or, oh, already. I don't like things carried to the next line. Not a fan. Or appreciation. Lamode's masterwork needed careful study, full attention, as befitted the products of genius. No mattered how warped. Okay. I can't stand any more of this. Kevin, where have you been? What did you do with the money? Kevin, the money. Kevin Smith. My book, everything my father left me Victor, not a fan of this. I would stay away from that in lettering as much as possible. I maybe there's a different camp, but I would say 90% of people don't dig that. So be careful with it. I'm going into the study. See that I'm not disturbed. Okay, Kevin Smith, comic book guy. The printing, design, masterful, perfect. Okay, he's reading a book. Beardsley, Dora, Bush, they all had the ability, but none possessed Lemone's vision. None. What? I don't believe it. He seems to have foreseen his own death. Oh, cool. Impossible. The clothing and settings in these later illustrations, they go beyond Lemone's century. Through the years, he couldn't have. Ooh, digging this. Me a few hours ago. But there are so many more pages left. What can. So that's him stealing that book. No, no. Oh, he's reading his own panels. Nice. That noise. Someone's entered the room behind me. Got to break free of the book. Turn, see who it. It's her. Waka. Dead. Tis tis. Kevin never got to finish his book. It finished him. Now we'll never know what the rest of the pictures were like. Maybe, rabid reader, there was one of you. Okay. Funny story. It reminds me of like some old horror stories where they try to involve the reader and like, you could be next, right? Um, you could see I just read the dialogue bubbles. I didn't read the captions and stuff like that. There is a lot to read in this. I read it when I was loading it up here and stuff. I skipped that for a reason because I wanted some movement on this entry and stuff, right? As a story, it stands. It stands really well. Uh, lettering, not the biggest fan, and you've got to realize that when you have this much lettering on a page, you will turn off a certain amount of readers, and that's okay. Like not every book has to be action packed and superhero and stuff like that, right? Just realize that this much lettering, this much wordage on a page can really have an impact on how many people actually sit down and work through it and stuff like that. Is there anything of the drawing that I dislike? No, I think Kevin Smith is well drawn. I think the angles there's no anatomy issues that I'm disagreeing with. Um, there's nothing that I is bothering me of the drawing or anything like that. It's yeah, no, it's a solid entry. I'm trying to look at it and say, is there anything I would really change on it? I don't think so. No, it definitely is what it is. And if you like a lot of in-depth reading on stuff, then this is a great entry and stuff. And the story itself is fun. Like yeah, it's a bit of a throwback to like I don't know. For some reason, I feel like Vincent Price is going to be narrating it or something like that. I enjoy it. Sin Bin. We went from a lot of lettering, complex story to something very much simpler. Take this pink ribbon off my eyes. I'm fixed post, and it's no big surprise. Oh, I'm exposed. Exposed. Mhm. Don't you think I know exactly where I stand? This world is forcing me to hold your hand. Okay, let's read this again. Take this pink ribbon off my eyes. I'm exposed, and it's no big surprise. Don't you think I know exactly where I stand? This world is forcing me to hold your hand. Okay, kind of cool, kind of poetic, but Am I missing the scary part of this? Like it's artistic, it's kind of flowing. Are these so these are body parts in bottles? That's kind of scary, right? These pictures exposed? Yeah, those are pictures. I'm kind of looking for okay, so I guess like I'm looking at these are horror pieces and stuff, and maybe I'm not sure what this last one is about. I'm holding hands. Like we've got pictures and development, the exposure, standing, the feet, and everything in preserved in bottles. But this last one I'm kind of missing. Um, is it a drawing? Is it actually reaching out? That one confused me. This is potentially like the rhyme of a serial killer or a collector or something like that. Just this last bit, holding your hand. There's bone. Yeah, I don't know. This last one's stumping me. Kind of cool story though. Really interesting. Be curious if the artist can fill me in on that one. Okay, Andy Lou. I do believe this is probably Batman. Kid walking with his parents through an alley. Dude comes out with a gun, but it's not just a gun, it's the demon shadow in the back. Blah, blah, blah. Three shots. Two people go down. The kid does not go down. So I like the blood splatter. I like the movement and stuff like that. Miss the kid. Mom, dad. Don't know if I like the framing of this scene here. And then the demon disappears. Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? This lettering could be a little bit better here. Like the message of it is great, right? But the lettering is a little bit too spaced here and too spread out. It looks too thin, right? Like everything's there's just way too much spacing in this and stuff, right? I love the demon, love the storytelling. Not sure if I love the copy paste bricking here necessarily, but it's fine. It works. This panel is not great. I guess what it comes down to me is I like the storytelling. Um, panel flow is good. Demon's good. A little bit repetitive from uh, P2 to P3 here with just we got the demon again. I wish the demon was maybe I don't know why it stopped at the bullets. I might have had the hand reaching out and enlarging or something like that, like grasping at them. I feel like this hand was drawn once and then copy pasted and stretched in different ways. I would have maybe like played with the hand a little bit, like reaching out to them or something like that, right? So yeah, good entry. Ooh, why did I switch that? But I would have P1 is good, P2 is good. Too much repetition in the demon here. I like the splatter and stuff like that. Him standing over his parents, I don't know if it really conveys. I would have maybe had him on the ground, like holding them looking up or whatever. And then this one, I like the angled as the shadow bends over the wall here and stuff like that. So I would have dropped the bricks, maybe hand drawn the bricks or faded them or something like that, and then redone the lettering here. Guys, this was a spooky slam. Let's see if I can enlarge myself again. There we go. Okay. Wow. Like for only giving you guys a month, pretty much just over a month or whatever to do something scary, some of these were pretty impressive. Like wow. There's a lot of different skill levels that we can see here and stuff, right? And so one thing I want to emphasize is like if you're submitting here, it's kind of freaking awesome. Like you're already winning and stuff like that. You've completed an entry, right? So that's really good. So I don't always spend a lot of time talking about what you guys did that was amazing, but I'm going to tell you this: all these, like I'm super impressed that you submitted this. I'm super amazed. Great, great stuff. Okay, so I really want to put that out there. I hope that when you're watching this, you're not just taking the hints and the nudges that I'm giving that particular artist for them. I hope what you're doing is taking it for you too, because like you can learn from somebody else's like little nudge, and you're like, damn, I do that all the time too. I should be better, right? I'm going to take that lesson into mine and work with it. Okay. Uh, I didn't say who the winner is, and I usually don't in these videos because these videos are about constructive critiques and stuff, right? But I'm curious in the comments. Let's hear who you think really brought the heat for this entry. for these entries for this contest. Okay, it's already been decided. I've had the judges vote, but I want to hear what you have to say. So let's hear your feedback of who you think brought the spookiest to the slam. Guys, stay tuned for the next contest. It'll be coming up soon with a couple little changes to it and stuff. But overall, thank you. Thanks for participating and hanging out with me. You guys really make my job kind of awesome. Happy Halloween.